Hey family, hey! A few weeks ago, I promised to take you all out of town with me as I traveled to North Carolina. I took some pictures and shot some videos for this episode. Now, my angle for this episode is to introduce you to short-term rentals from a customer and owner-operator's perspectives. You probably have heard of Airbnb, but maybe you've never stayed in a property listed on a short-term rental platform like Airbnb. On my trip to North Carolina, I stayed in a short-term rental property that was listed as an Airbnb. I'll take you for a virtual tour of the property and discuss the pros and cons of short-term rentals versus staying in a hotel. Also, if you've ever considered becoming a landlord, you might have just thought of being a landlord of a long-term rental versus considering other options, which is why I want to introduce you to the short-term rental marketplace on today's Danielle Inspires. Before we dive into today's juicy content, be sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and smash that alert button so you are aware of new content as soon as it is released. I'm bringing you fresh topics week after week, and today is no exception. Your engagement with me on this channel means a lot to me, so thank you. On to today's topic. Short-term rentals, also called vacation rentals, are typically furnished apartments, condos, or houses where renters can feel more at home. Short-term rentals have gained momentum in recent years as their flexibility allows travelers to rent anywhere from a few days to a few months. Short-term rentals can be more appealing than hotels because of the prices, furnishings, and amount of space they can often provide. A number of companies have entered the marketplace, providing online platforms for hosts to list their properties for vacation rentals. Airbnb is dominating the short-term rental space, but other players are on the market and they are listed on the screen before you. I'm going to take you for a tour of the short-term rental I stayed in Castle Haynes, North Carolina for 1 week. Let's go to that video clip now.
Clearly, this is the front door, and typically what you will find is a keypad entry system, and your host will give you that code either the day of or as you're approaching the reservation date. So I like this living room. You see it has it's dog friendly, so those are dog leashes and little dog poopy bags. But I love this additional space. It's a space where they have plants and art supplies, so it's really what you would want as an artist for inspiration. You see the easel over there. I feel like it's decorated well. I do like this. I like the gray furniture in here, and then you have your television there. So we're not going room to room. I just want to give you an idea of some of the main spaces. So right off of there is the living room is a bedroom, and then there's Chatty. So I like these French door entry into this next space, which is the dining room, which will appear a bit lived in because I've come in here to make it my office. So I think the chandelier is kind of cute. Definitely like the bay windows, and this bar area I feel is really cute. Let me see if I can find the lights to the kitchen. Here it goes. So again, the kitchen is lived in because we've been in here. I've cooked every day. So I would call this a coastal farmhouse. That is the feel that I'm getting from this space, coastal farmhouse. And that is their little pantry. And see, I got a little setup for Chatty. And sorry, I don't have on the lights here, but I feel it's adequate light. There's we call this the music room. I don't know if they call it the music room, but we call it the music room for the reasons you just saw. And so I'm typically watching TV in here, and then haven't gone in here, but this is where the washer and dryer are. And then we'll just make our way to the outdoor space. So again, you got those French doors. And so this is where MJ and I have been this morning. The master bedroom and bathroom are through that door, so that's where I'm staying. And then very large outdoor space. This is a lot happening out here. Some I like, some I don't like. Let's see, Chad come running. They have a zip line further to the back. Couldn't really get the grill working, and it was dirty, so that's kind of the downside. You may not have people taking care of all of your needs. The pool, which was a small pool, which was a good idea, it's also dirty. And so I think the owner said that he was going to come and clean it. I don't remember if he said it was yesterday, today. So this is the side of the house. Really, so you see this is a big yard. So it's funny. I had not noticed, you see these group of trees? I had not noticed they had this kind of setup where you could take a picture, but there's some cobwebs in there. It's really kind of cute. You can get a feel of being a king on the throne. I think that was really cute. I just wouldn't want to sit in there, is all. But it's a cute idea. I don't know if you see that. You see that spider web? Yeah. So we not gonna mess with that spider. Let him do his thing. So landscaping along the property. And let's go see if the pool has been cleaned or not. I don't see any vegetables to pick. He said that you could help yourself to vegetables. I didn't see anything I'm interested in. I thought this was cute. I don't know what's growing across there, but definitely a nice shaded area. So talking about some of the things I don't like this is dilapidated building. Like that there's a hammock, and it's right here by the pool. So yeah, so the pool has not been cleaned, as you can see. Yeah, not cleaned. And then this setup right by the pool makes the whole feel of the pool not appealing. But if you look out the other way with where the bamboo is, so it could be hit or miss with properties. This is the first house I've stayed at for Airbnb. We did a condo in Vero Beach. So see, that's not attractive to look at, but then you have some more, more attractive, more appealing moments in here. So anyway, and that's the back of the house.
Most people are familiar with long-term rentals because most of us have either rented an apartment or house for at least 1 year. If you've ever shopped for a long-term rental, you might have seen ads for month-to-month rentals as well. Back in the day, those month-to-month rentals were most often rooms for rent, like boarding houses or just something for people in transition, while apartments, condos, and townhouses and detached homes were the main products on the long-term rental market. Here's a comparison of short-term month-to-month, and long-term rentals, which further highlights their similarities and differences. I was watching a YouTube video of this landlord who said that she converted all of her long-term rental properties to short-term rentals because most often short-term rentals are more profitable. When you are buying a property, whether as a primary residence or investment property, the location of the property is key. But that's even more so true for vacation rentals. Given what people spend on vacations, they are somewhat picky about what country, state, or city they choose to vacation. Miami, Florida, for example, draws more tourists than Fairmont, West Virginia, which means the short-term rental market in Miami will be better than it is in Fairmont, West Virginia. However, there is still money to be made in Fairmont for long-term rentals and maybe even month-to-month rentals. In other words, you need to understand the local market in which you plan to buy a rental property before deciding which type of rental will be most profitable. For my trip to North Carolina, I chose to stay in an Airbnb instead of a hotel for the amount of space I wanted. I traveled to Castle Hayne with my son MJ and my dog Chadwick, and I wanted to be sure all of us had room to spread out. This working vacation trip was about spending time at the beach, but beachfront vacation rentals were way too pricey. Castle Haynes was 45 minutes away from the closest beach that allowed dogs on the beach on a leash in the summer season. We visited two beaches, Fort Fisher State Recreation Area in Cure Beach, North Carolina, and Topsail Beach in Surf City, North Carolina. The water was great at both beaches. There was ample parking and the beaches weren't overly crowded. Although we went to Fort Fisher just for the beach, there's a lot more to do than sunbathing. Fort Fisher has nearly 6 miles of pristine beach and trails through salt marshes, brimming with wildlife at Fort Fisher State Recreation Area, a park touching both the Atlantic Ocean and the Cape Fear River. Loggerhead sea turtles, piping plovers, and other rare species nest along the sandy shore. The park is popular for surf fishing, and four-wheel drive vehicles are allowed seasonally with required permits. On this tip of Pleasure Island, visitors will also find a state aquarium, Civil War era historic site, and a boating ramp and paddle launch nearby. The following day, we went to Topsail Beach. The Topsail area was once a popular pirate hideaway, but it's now a haven for beachgoers surfing for a vacation filled with rest and relaxation. Where pirates once laid in wait for merchant ships, with only the topsails visible, today you'll find a tranquil region loved by anglers, boaters, and sea turtles alike. There are plenty of shops, restaurants, and eateries in walking distance of the beach. We pitched our tent near Jolly Roger Pier and enjoyed the company of very friendly local residents and vacationers. I really enjoyed myself, and Chatty seemed to have fun as well. This was his first long distance trip and his first trip to the beach. He wasn't afraid of water, but was a little intimidated by the ocean waves. Also, Chadwick really enjoyed where we stayed in Castle Haynes because the yard space and the enclosed back porch were just his favorite spots. Although this property has many pluses, it had a lot of minuses as well, which I will show you. But first, let's go and look at the listing on Airbnb. So when you get to Airbnb site, you just enter where you want to visit, your travel dates, and the number of guests. Here's the listing where I stayed. As you can see, the house accommodates 8 guests and has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and you have the entire house to yourself. The rate is $190 a night, and often a host will provide discounts if you stay for a week or longer. Everything you need to know about a vacation property would be on the listing alongside customer reviews, ratings, and pictures. Keep in mind that the pictures are going to be the best they can be and may not truly represent the condition of the property when you show up. I never had a problem until this most recent trip with a vacation rental. As I said, the interior was fine except for a few minor issues that had nothing to do with cleanliness. This particular host used his rental property every other weekend, and because of that, I think he kind of lost sight of the need to keep his grounds in pristine condition. So let's take a look at my photos. The grill was dirty and surrounded by dirty utensils. There were wood piles with rusty nails and a couple of dilapidated sheds. The pool had plenty of dead bugs and debris and was located near a rundown, broken down shed. I also didn't like competing for space in the refrigerator, which had one shelf totally devoted to hot sauce and left little room for my groceries. I cooked every day, which is another reason why I wanted to rent a house instead of a hotel room. There were plenty of dishes, pots, pans, utensils, and whatever I needed to make some bomb meals for my son and me. You can rate your host and his or her property to inform others of the property's condition, which I did. I gave a balanced review because the interior of the house was better maintained. $190 a night is a lot of money, and that could be your money as a host after Airbnb deducts its fee. I plan to enter the short-term rental market place after I move to Florida. Y'all, there is money to be made even if you don't own a property. Let's talk for a moment about rental arbitrage by going to Airbnb's website and see what they have to say about rental arbitrage. Rental arbitrage is the act of renting a property long-term and then re-renting it on a short-term basis on platforms like Airbnb and HomeAway. Rental arbitrage is a business model that requires little investment, provides positive cash flow, and poses far less risk, and yes, it's entirely legal.
Let's look at the numbers. Let's say you see a home that's a long-term rental at $1,500 per month in Castle Hayne, North Carolina.
And you know that you could re-rent the space on a short-term basis for $190 a night and say get a 50% occupancy for that property. Let's say 50% occupancy is 15 days out of the month. 15 days times $190 a day is $2,850. Airbnb hosts fee ranges from 14% to 16%. Let's take the median of that, and so 15% would go to Airbnb and 85% would go to the host. So the host would get $2,422.50. Now let's deduct the rent you would pay to the landlord for the long-term lease. You pay $1,500 $500. So you're going to subtract the short-term rental earnings from that amount, and that's $922.50 a month. For a year, that's about $11,070. How many of y'all would not mind earning $11,000 per year? Now, you just can't go re-renting someone else's property all willy-nilly. You have to lock down a written agreement with the landlord first. Not every landlord wants their space rented out on a short-term basis, while others won't mind, as long as you pay them on time each month and you take care of their property. Of course, you would need to convince the landlord that you can and will honor your agreement. Rental arbitrage is real, it's legal, and it's profitable. As a new host in the rental market space, it is a great place to start because you don't have to buy a property to rent it out. You can just rent a property on a long-term basis and then re-rent it on a short-term basis on a platform like HomeAway, Vrbo, etc. By the end of next year, I will have my first short-term rental space on the market, and of course, I will take you along for that journey. Until next time, be bold, be great, and be inspired. I'll see you next week.
Thank you for joining me for another week of Danielle Inspires. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the alert button so that you are aware of new content as soon as it is released, and share this inspiration with those you love. See you next week.